10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best portable speakers. Starting at number 10. JBL JR Pop. We review a lot of headphones designed for kids, but there aren't nearly as many child-friendly Bluetooth speakers out there. The $29.95 JBL JR Pop is clearly meant for a young audience, as you can probably tell by everything from its name to its colorful, waterproof design, with a built-in LED light show. That said, we're surprised by how loud it can get in the volume department. For the low price, the JBL JR Pop is a solid speaker that can take a splash. It just seems the kid-friendly aspects of the design are more cosmetic than functional. A forward-facing grille emblazoned with the JBL logo covers the 3-watt mono driver. Around the side panel is an array of buttons for power, volume, Bluetooth, and the LEDs. The plus and minus volume buttons work in conjunction with your phone or tablet's main levels. The light show can be turned on or off, and it spins a ring of dazzling rainbow and pastel colors around the speaker's dial. The LED on and LED off audio prompts interrupt the music stream, which is a little annoying, and the lights don't seem to follow any rhythmic cues for their patterns, but for $30, it's an entertaining addition. JBL estimates the JR Pop's battery life to be roughly 5 hours. Your results will vary with your volume levels, but that's on the low end of battery life estimates for portable Bluetooth speakers. On tracks with intense sub-bass content, like the knife's silent shout, the powerful low frequencies push the JR Pop to the brink of distortion, but the speaker generally manages to avoid any fuzzy sounds, especially at moderate volumes. The bass depth isn't overpowering. That would be a surprise given the speaker's modest size and price. The most kid-friendly aspect of the JBL JR Pop's design is its excellent IPX7 rating. The light show is a fun addition, but we're somewhat surprised by the volume levels the speaker can hit. As mentioned, volume can be limited at the source, but that's an extra step that could have been avoided. That said, we don't see too many kid-focused speakers, and from a design angle, the JR Pop is a solid, affordable option. We're also fans of the JBL Clip 3 and the JBL Go 2, both of which are waterproof and affordable. The Anker Soundcore Flare has built-in lights and is also waterproof, but none of these models are targeted toward kids. At number 9. JBL Clip 2. The Clip is the best Bluetooth speaker you can get to attach to your backpack. 2 retains the hockey puck form of the original Clip, but little else has stayed the same. A mesh fabric replaces the hard speaker grille on the front, giving it a more modern look. It's available in black, blue, red, teal and gray, which are fewer options than what the Clip Plus offered. The Clip 2 sounds particularly good on vocals, thanks to noticeable mid-range tones, something many small speakers eschew. Justin Timberlake's vocals on Can't Stop the Feeling were rich and clear, while the same song on Poke's Boom Swimmer duo felt thin. The Clip 2 had no problem producing the layered sounds of Radiohead's Burn the Witch, and the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night was crisp and full. The quality was especially noticeable on acoustic songs. Miles Davis's trumpet on Summertime sounded much more realistic than it did through The Swimmer, and Lindsey Buckingham's fingerpicking on Fleetwood Mac's Never Going Back Again had pleasing resonance. One weak spot is volume. The Clip 2 maxed out at about 80 decibels, which is enough for listening under typical conditions, but a noisy pool may wash away the sound. JBL improved the Clip 2's battery life to 8 hours, from 5 on the original. The Swimmer Duo is also advertised to hold out for 8 hours. I had no problem eclipsing that mark. After more than 10 hours of listening at a low to moderate volume, the Clip was still going strong. If you're looking for an ultra-portable Bluetooth speaker that costs less than $100, the Clip 2 is the best option. It's waterproof, has good battery life and sounds great. Other ultra-portables usually falter when it comes to sound quality, but the Clip 2 delivers nearly as much fidelity as the $100 UE Roll 2. Number 8 of my list. Animace Go. A basic speakerphone that has an integrated handle that allows you to tote this along like the boomboxes of yore. It's sleek, with a slightly nappy grip, and has IPX7 weatherproofing, so your trip to the beach or out on the boat may not end in musical disaster. We have no control over your relationships, Gary. If she doesn't like that alt-country playlist you chose, that's on you. I was sent the black model, but it's also available in blue and red. Booming bass and full volume get 30W sound with Amace Go's two 15-watt full-range drivers and two passive radiators. TWS function lets you pair two speakers for a powerful 60W stereo surround sound. Super bass booms with less than 1% total harmonic distortion. Support hands-free calling, tablets, cell phones sync in a snap with Bluetooth 4. 2 works great with mobile phones, wired connection with PC, TV and other non-Bluetooth devices with a 3.5mm audio jack. Clear, rich sound that fills the room indoors and performs outdoors. Easily connect any device with a playlist to have continuous sound under a water-resistant side panel. There is a micro-USB charging port, a USB-A output port to charge your device, and an O input port. I was never able to run the unit down to where it would not play or charge my iPhone. This makes the Amace Go a great companion on a multi-day trip to the beach or day-long bike ride, where you'd like some music and a good source of power at hand. The Bluetooth speaker market is a crowded place. The Amace Go brings clear advantages with IPX7 weatherproofing, 30-hour battery life, and the ability to charge your phones or tablets from its 8800 mAh battery. If you have a large group, having someone else get a second one will enable the whole group to enjoy the same jams together. But there are always warnings to heed. Coming at number 7. Unsangle 3. The Cambridge Soundworks Unsangle 3 earns brownie points for being small and portable, but not much else. It's a decent budget option, but if you're looking for good sound quality or volume, you'll have to look elsewhere and likely spend quite a bit more. With its small size, the UNS really struggles to get to high volumes. Accordingly, it scored the low score of 4 in this metric, which saw scores as high as 9. The UNS can still belt much louder than any smartphone's built-in speakers. However, the music quickly starts to sound tinny as you crank the volume up. Listening at the highest volume that didn't result in a shrill assault on our ears, the UNS was able to mostly fill our testing apartment with sound, but when standing far from the speaker the music could get lost in normal ambient noise. Overall, it's loud enough for a small group of people sitting close to the speaker, but doesn't have enough power for a large party. The UNS hung on for 15.5 hours in our battery life test, besting its manufacturer claim by more than 3 hours. This covers almost all of your waking hours on a normal day, so chances are this will be more than enough battery life, unless you're looking to take the UNS on an extended backpacking trip. 15.5 hours was just around average in our battery life testing, thus the UNS received a score of 6 out of 10. The Cambridge Soundworks Unsangle 3 is small and inexpensive. While it is still much better than listening to a smartphone's built-in speakers, the UNS was the worst sounding speaker in our selection. Because it's so tiny and inexpensive, it's not a bad just-in-case speaker to keep stashed in your backpack or car if you're not fussy about sound quality, but we feel the Anker Soundcore and the Tribits Sound Go to be overall better speakers for those on a tight budget. At number 6. Bose Home Speaker 500. Bose has a long history of producing high-quality wireless speakers like, for example, the Bose SoundLink Revolve Plus. And with the launch of its latest, the Bose Home Speaker 500, the company shows no signs of slowing down. So what do you get for your money? The main thing that sets the Bose Speaker 500 apart from its competitors is its utilization of Bose's pioneering audio technology, which should make it a smart speaker for audiophiles. While Google and Amazon's speakers are certainly smart, the vast majority of their smart speaker catalog leaves something to be desired in the audio performance category. All in all, the Home Speaker 500 looks very impressive, with a seamless elliptical shape and an anodized aluminum casing that, if you opt for the silver model, reflects the light in your room beautifully. We tried out the glossy black version, which looks just as elegant and may be a better option for those who want a more unobtrusive design. Although the Home Speaker 500 has been optimized for voice control via Amazon Alexa, there are buttons for basic functionality on the top of the speaker, as well as 6 preset buttons that you can program to play your favorite playlist, radio station, or album after one touch. You can store presets using the Bose app, although next year Bose says it will be updating the speaker to allow you to create presets using your voice. We found the microphones were really adept at picking up our voices from quite far away, so you can comfortably interact with the speaker from the other side of the room. Right now, the Home Speaker 500 only supports Alexa, but Bose plans to update the new range to support Google Assistant this year. Overall, the speaker is on par with Apple's smart speaker and sounds a lot better than the vast majority of smart speakers on the market. If you don't mind a potentially tricky setup process and a steep price point, it's well worth considering. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. Sony SRS-XB12. There's no shortage of tiny portable Bluetooth speakers that purport to deliver powerful audio in a waterproof design. The Sony SRS-XB12, however, is the rare example that lives up to its claims. At $59.99, it's affordable, and its IP67 rating means it's fully waterproof. As for audio, the SRS-XB12 really does pack a wallop for a speaker its size. Those seeking truly powerful sound need to spend more on a larger system, but if a small speaker is your main priority, the audio output here is truly impressive and worthy of our editor's choice. The bottom panel of the SRS-XB12 is rubberized just like the rest of the exterior. That said, the speaker produces so much bass vibration for its size, it will definitely dance across tabletops and possibly jump right off on certain tracks. Thus, the attached lanyard is a design element we approve of and recommended using when cranking things up. Tracks like the recently re-released The Search for Cherry Red by Jonathan Fireeater showcase what the speaker is capable of. The drums here do, actually, sound a bit thunderous, which is no small feat for a speaker this size. More than that, the track just sounds full, with a clear, rich bass line and, above all else, what feels like real power at top volumes. On Jay-Z and Kanye West's No Church in the Wild, the kick drum loop receives an ideal high-mid presence, allowing its attack to maintain its punchy edge in the mix. The sub-bass synth hits are more implied than delivered, but the drum loop itself gets some added thump. From this and the previous track we can surmise that there is some boosting in the lows and low-mids, higher frequencies than sub-bass obviously, but low enough to give drums some oomph when the mix calls for it. The Sony SRS-XB12 packs a powerful punch for such a tiny speaker, and its waterproof build adds value to its already affordable price. Coming in at number 4 of my list. Vtin 20 watts. I've been on a binge lately of reviewing accessories from brands you probably haven't heard of outside of Amazon. It's been a goal of mine to get more information out to your readers on products that are more affordable. Keep in mind, I love the expensive stuff as much as the next person, and if I was worried about reviewing everything I liked, it might not make the most sense for our audience. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to spend an extra $100 $200 just for a little extra that will be hard to notice over time. On the side of the speaker is a port for a micro USB charger, as well as a 3.5mm O input protected by a rubber flap. On the opposite short end of the speaker is a loop for attaching the included carabiner, so you can hook it to a backpack or tent when outdoors. The Vtin 20W speaker also gets loud enough to enjoy outdoors on hikes with its compact size. It's also loud enough to entertain a group at a standard-sized campsite, while not being loud enough to disturb the whole campsite. Also, with its lack of emphasis on bass, it definitely won't be bothering next-door neighbors, and that's a good thing. The battery life is the star of this speaker, and there are very few that can compete no matter the price range. Also at $39.99, you won't worry about getting it wet or dirty when you bring it along on your outdoor adventures. It's an all-around great speaker for the price that won't make statements with a fancy exterior, but the substance is all there. From now until October 31, Vtin has given you Android Guys readers an exclusive discount code 88GD8B7V to save $5 to bring the price down to $34.99 at Amazon with free Prime shipping. At number 3. Bose SoundLink Color 2. The shift in seasons is nature's way of ringing in neighborhood block parties. Whether they're a mere social obligation or something that you earnestly enjoy, you're going to want some sort of musical ambience. The Bose SoundLink Color 2 has an on-the-nose address for this need with party mode, but is it good enough to make your gathering the talk of the town? Dual opposing passive radiators are housed inside the Bose SoundLink Color 2 speaker. This minimizes surface vibrations while maximizing volume output. Pictured. The back of the Bose SoundLink Color 2 speaker, which has dotted openings on top fourth of the panel and the Bose logo emblazoned in the middle. It is on a wood balcony with decorative lights and a brick backdrop. Dual opposing passive radiators are housed inside the Bose SoundLink Color 2 speaker. This minimizes surface vibrations while maximizing volume output. Both the SoundLink Color 2 and SoundSport Free struggle to maintain a reliable connection within normal parameters. The Bose SoundLink Color 2 is a rare breed of Bluetooth speaker because it supports multi-point connectivity. You can pair two devices to the speaker at a time, which is great if you want to keep an ear on incoming calls while streaming music. Bose is a great company for listeners who value multi-point connectivity, as its other products support it too, like the Bose noise-canceling headphones 700. Battery life is underwhelming and falls short of the stated 8-hour battery life. Pictured. The two inputs of the SoundLink Color 2 speaker. The micro USB charging input is located below the 3.5mm auxiliary input. Battery life is underwhelming and falls short of the stated 8-hour battery life. The SoundLink Color 2 is one of many Bose products that is compatible with the Bose Connect app, which lets users control volume, update firmware, and switch between devices. Pictured. The Bose SoundLink Color 2 speaker at an angle on a balcony. The SoundLink Color 2 is one of many Bose products that is compatible with the Bose Connect app, which lets users control volume, update firmware, and switch between devices. Despite how the inaccurate bass response affects the mid-range notes, Halsey's vocal fry is audible during her parts. This is especially apparent when Halsey sings the hook of chorus. In the end, it's him and I. Her pitch lowers ever so slightly as she sings I, and the speaker conveys this subtle change. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, JBL Flip 4. At first glance, there isn't much about the Flip 4 that sets it apart from the previous Flip 3, and that's because aside from a few minor design changes like the phone button being turned into a more fitting triangle for pause or play, there really isn't too much difference between them. The Flip 4 is still rocking the iconic cylindrical shape, with exposed passive bass radiators on either end to match the rest of the JBL lineup. That said, there is one key difference that makes this a worthy upgrade to the previous model: waterproofing. That's also where you'll get the 5 indicator lights that show you how much battery life is left, along with a small flap to keep water out of the micro USB charging input and the 3.5mm input hidden underneath. The string is also still there, so you can hang it from a hook or tie it to your bag if you want. Though I prefer the flexible cord you'll find on something like the UE Roll, the string here is fine. On the Flip 3, I found a slight distortion when the speaker was maxed out, but that doesn't seem to be an issue on this new model. The finger slides that used to sound a little harsh and cinder and smoke by iron and wine is now much more controlled. You can still enjoy it without it bothering your ears, which is a plus. Not much has changed in the mids, with vocals still coming through loud and clear. Background instruments do get pushed off the side a bit, but not enough to be an issue. The guitar and percussion in Life is Wonderful by Jason Mraz backs up the vocals perfectly throughout the track. Another minor change is in the low end, with a slightly beefier bass when compared to the previous model. It's still not going to replicate the sub-bass of your favorite songs, but it doesn't do a bad job at replicating it at a slightly higher frequency, it seems. The rolling bass of Mr. Rager by Kid Cudi is consistent throughout the background of the song, without muddying up any of the mids. And number 1. Anker Soundcore. Anker's Soundcore 2 is a popular mini Bluetooth speaker on Amazon. It costs $35, plays pretty loud for its small size, is water resistant, and has excellent battery life. That's all good, and the Soundcore 2 is a perfectly fine little wireless speaker, but it doesn't sound as good as the similarly priced Unsangle 3 Plus and can't handle certain bass frequencies at higher volumes. From a sound standpoint, we compared several mini Bluetooth speakers to this speaker, and I came away thinking it was a little better than average for a sub-$50 Bluetooth speaker, but it didn't really exceed my expectations. It plays bigger than its size would indicate, but you're still aware it's a small speaker when listening to it. The sound just doesn't come across as all that rich or expansive. It works well for playing background music at low to mid volume levels, but runs into some trouble at higher volumes. We fed it some pretty hard material that often makes other small speakers distort, and Soundcore 2 did indeed distort at higher volumes. One example. The 3WW track Alt-J has some deep bass frequencies, and the Soundcore 2 couldn't resolve them without warbling. To be clear, this is par for the course for these little speakers, which tend to be strongest in mid-range and have a harder time resolving complicated tracks that involve more instruments. It does sound significantly better than the $18 Amazon Basics portable wireless Bluetooth speaker, and less critical listeners will most likely be happy with its sound and battery life, which is rated at 24 hours at moderate volume levels. As noted, I prefer the sound of the Unsangle 3 Plus. You get better sound for the same basic price. But if you're willing to step up to the $80 55-pound Anker Soundcore Boost speaker, you're going to get a big bump in sound quality, with stronger bass and more refined sound. The Soundcore Boost can also play louder without distorting. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.